fabulous. And I know people are still coming in, but I want to get us started so that we have as much time with Ms. Price today as we can get. I told her I want to squeeze every minute out of her so that you get to take advantage of all her experience and knowledge and wisdom that can help you get started. So it's great to see you. You look fabulous. You always make me feel great. You make me feel proud whenever we bring guests in to see students looking so professional. I appreciate you taking the extra effort. I know it can be, particularly on a rainy day, and I thank you for doing that. I don't see Dr. MJ in the room. I don't know if she's here or not, but I wanted to just take a few minutes and particularly and thank her. So if you see Dr. Linda Murray Jackson, oh, there she is coming in now. If you see Dr. Linda Murray Jackson, be sure to give her a special thanks. Our guest today is a result of the relationship that she has with Dr. Linda Murray Jackson. And I really appreciate Dr. MJ doing that for us, bringing us a great speaker. If you know of people that you think you'd love to hear from, let us know. We're always looking for great folks to come for this series. Also, let me just take a few minutes to thank the advising team who's always doing this. So to the advising team and to faculty and staff, I see a couple faculty and staff here. Will you kind of wave your hand there for me? And yeah, I see you, Dr. Blake, coming in late. I see you. And even though she's not here, I want to thank, oh, there's Ya in the back. Wave your hand, Ya. Ms. Hughes, who always does a lot of work. These are the people that are behind the scenes making these sort of events happen for our students. They aren't in the limelight, and they don't often have a chance to be thanked for all the work they do to make it great for you. And Chris, I don't want to forget Chris. Wave your hand back there, Chris. Everybody needs a Chris Garland to keep them going. So be sure to take a few minutes and say thank you to these folks that are always working hard to make a difference for our students. I am really excited about our guest speaker today, and so I'd like to bring up and ask you to welcome Mr. Nicholas Cribb to introduce our speaker. Let's give Nicholas a big hand.
Good morning, Delaware State University College of Business. Good morning, Delaware State University College of Business. All right. Can you hear me in the back? My name is Nicholas Cribb. I'm a senior economics major, and today I'm going to be introducing your speaker. For a long time, I sat in your very same seats thinking that I wouldn't get an opportunity to stand on the stage and address my peers, so I'd like to thank Dean Covington as well as the College of Business Advisement Center for making that happen for me. Today, we have the fortunate opportunity to have a truly dynamic individual, Ms. Helen Smith Price, here to speak to us as the next installment of the Dean's Distinguished Leadership Series. Helen Smith Price serves as the Vice President of Global Community Affairs for the Coca-Cola Company and the President of the Coca-Cola Foundation. She leads the Foundation's global strategy, governance, and regulatory and compliance for domestic and international philanthropy. Under her direction, the Foundation has donated more than $72 million in 2016 to enhance the environment, empower women, and enrich the well-being of people and communities. Helen also leads the company's Global Community Affairs organization, providing the framework to fulfill the company's annual commitment of giving back at least 1% of its prior year's operating income to local communities. Helen leads the team focused on making a unique and sustainable difference in the company's headquartered community of Metro Atlanta. A 24-year veteran of the Coca-Cola Company, Helen has served as the executive director of the foundation since 2001. Prior to joining Coca-Cola, she held roles in audit, tax, accounting research, and financial management at Bell South Corporation. Helen began her professional career as an auditor and tax accountant with the Arthur Anderson & Company. She was licensed as a certified public accountant in the state of Georgia and earned a Bachelor's of Science degree in chemistry from Spelman College, as well as a Master of Business Administration degree from Clark Atlanta University. Helen serves on the Coca-Cola Women's Leadership Council, Spelman College Board of Trustees, Board of Counselors of the Carter Center, and several community boards, including the Woodruff Arts Center Alliance Theater, Westside Future Fund, Villages of Carver Family YMCA, the Conference Board's Corporate Contributions Council, and the Nominations Committee, United Way of Greater Atlanta. She is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and the Links Incorporated. Helen lives in Atlanta with her husband, Albany Price. They have one adult son, Alexander. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Ms. Helen Smith Price.
Thank you, Nicholas, for that really well done introduction. Thank you so much. And when I look out, I am a bit overwhelmed. You look, I don't know you, but you look wonderful. You look like you can walk into any Fortune 500 company. You look as if you can work on Wall Street. You look as if you are the next generation of entrepreneurs who will change the business world. You look great. So you start out looking great, and I know that you are here in school, so you had to do some things to be great enough to be here today. And I thank you for coming to hear me, and I appreciate the invitation. Thank you, Dean Covington, for the invitation to visit Delaware State. I thank Dr. Linda Murray Jackson for extending that initial invitation. This is a special day for me because you've given me an opportunity to do two things that are important to me. And the first thing is the opportunity to meet students, the young women and men who have chosen to continue their education and explore their talents. You had a choice in being here. You had a choice in being at Delaware State University. You had a choice. And I know you have friends who made different choices. And so I don't take it for granted that you would be here, and I don't think you should either. You've already made major accomplishments with so much more that you are able to do and will do. So that is one of the things I always enjoy, talking and meeting students. The second thing I'd like to thank everyone for is the chance to hang out with my friend, Dr. Linda Murray Jackson. We met in public accounting. I'd been at Arthur Andersen about a year, and I was on the team recruiting new talent to the firm. She was right out of Georgetown, and I was one of the folks that helped recruit her to Arthur Andersen, and I was glad I recruited someone that did so well there. And I later left and went to Bell South, and I recruited her to Bell South Corporation as well. So I'm glad to see and have a chance to be with her. I'm seriously, though, very proud of Linda Murray Jackson because she had a great career at Arthur Andersen. She had a great career at Bell South. And she made a decision pretty early on that she would change the accounting industry and change it by helping to prepare people of color for careers in accounting and careers in business. And that's why I'm here today. I did not have that same drive that she had, but I think I owe it to all of you to be here today. I sat not at Delaware State, but in plenty of other auditoriums and heard folks that looked like me, or women who had similar aspirations at one point, who came back and talked to me and talked to my classmates about what the world was like for them and how they managed their career and what their trajectory had been. And so I owe it to you to be here. And one day I hope that you would also do the same for the young people who will follow you. So let me tell you a little bit about how I came to be here today. And I'm going to take you way back because I want you to understand my full background. I saw the posters. There are a lot of posters of me up around the campus. It's a little bit intimidating, but I want to take you back further than what you read on the posters. So I was born in Atlanta, and attended great public inner-city schools. Now, let me explain what I mean by inner city. How many of you know Atlanta or know kind of what Atlanta's about? I attended West Fulton High School. It's in the Bankhead community. If you're into rap at all, you know my community. You know it because of T.I. It's known as Zone 1. That, you know, when you start talking about police precincts, that tells you something, right? So you know it as Zone 1, T.I., Shawty Low, Bankhead Bounce, Curtis Snow, the Yin Yang Twins. That's my hood, okay? And I'm sharing this with you because we quickly label people based on their zip codes and their police zones and where they come from instead of what they present at that time and where they're going. None of those factors determine your education level, your job, or your experiences. So you don't have to define your future based on where you come from. It is more important to gather all of the lessons, and those lessons about your neighborhood and your community and your friends, those lessons mean something, and they do matter. But you don't have to define yourself based on those things. You have to focus on where you're going. From my Atlanta public high school, and I say that, I don't know what it's like here, but in Atlanta, there's a difference between public and private schools and what the expectations are. But from my Atlanta public high school, I attended Spelman College on a full academic scholarship, majoring in chemistry. I was on a journey. I was going to be a pharmacist at first. And then I decided I would be a research chemist. And that was my goal. So I had this full ride to Spelman. I had enough money for tuition, for room and board, for books, and even enough, a little bit, that handled my other expenses. So it was a great scholarship, as you can imagine. And I was on a journey to be this chemist, and it was tied to the chemistry degree. You know, they didn't talk about STEM like they do now, but it really was about getting women and minorities into the sciences, and that's why I had so much money to go to school, and it was great. And at the end of my sophomore year, I participated in a summer research program. It was a lab sponsored by Georgia Tech and Morehouse College. We were doing ozone studies. I was finally working in my field, and I hated it. I hated the lab. I hated the way the lab smelled. I hated the isolation. I hated the very slow and deliberate pace needed to actually conduct these experiments. I hated it. And that's why internships are so important, and job experiences. I was trying to be something because I liked science and math, I thought this made sense for me. But I didn't really understand what it would be like until I had a chance to have a glimpse of it. And I hated it. So if you can imagine this, I'm in my junior year. I'm majoring in chemistry, and I realized I did not see chemistry as my career goal anymore. But I had 3 problems. One big problem. That wonderful scholarship I talked about, it's tied to chemistry. I can't change my major. I don't get to keep that. But the other 2 problems, so that was number 1 problem. The other 2 and 3 problems were Ralph and Helen Smith, my parents. Their strong advice to me was simply this: we don't care what you choose as a major, but you have to graduate on time. And since they gave you scholarship money, you better use it. We're not paying anything. So that's a big problem. I could not change my major. And so I had to finish that program and finish it well. But I started taking business electives, business courses as my electives. My friends thought I was crazy. I took accounting, principles of accounting. I took macroeconomics and marketing. I took all of the introductory courses in business as electives. And it was when I took that first accounting class, I said, now that's me. That's it. I knew it. I knew it. It just, you know when you find something that just speaks to your spirit and you're very interested in it, interested enough that you'd work beyond what you have to do it? That was it. Accounting was it. And so I had to finish this degree. And so I graduated from Spelman with a chemistry degree, cum laude, by the way, even though I hated it, but cum laude. So I was very, very serious about it. And upon graduation, I went as fast as I could to Atlanta University, now Clark Atlanta University, to enroll in their MBA program with a concentration in accounting. And it was what I thought it would be. I had an internship with Xerox over the summer between my first and second year of graduate school, and that was my space. I wanted to be a CPA. I wanted to be certified, licensed as a CPA. I wanted that professional designation as an accountant. But I will tell you, I wanted to be something that I had never seen. Until I went to graduate school, I had never met a CPA. But it worked out. It worked out. And there were people who came to campus, just like I'm here today, who were CPAs, who were financial managers and professionals in human resources who came and spoke to our business school. And it really did make a difference to hear their real accounts of what life was like for them, and it mattered. I began my career after graduating as an auditor and a tax accountant at Arthur Andersen. I hope this is my water. There's a lot of water up here. I think this is mine. I was licensed as a certified public accountant and worked at Arthur Andersen. And later I moved to Bell South. And I worked in comptrollers, human resources, and financial management at Bell South. Now, you just heard me say I'm a finance person, but you heard me also say I spent some time in human resources. And part of the journey is to be open to new experiences. And so in the Bell system, they use an assessment center approach to figure out, to provide development experiences and to also figure out succession plans. So it's like a day or a week in the life of operating at the next level. And they ran these assessment centers with a team of senior managers from the business and a group of psychologists. And I was a participant in that and went through this assessment center process where they evaluate how you function at the next level, how you interact with your peers on a team, how you interact in a supervisory mode, and that informed their succession planning. I tell you that because I did something a little different. After that, I go back to my wonderful, it's like a week that you do this assessment. And I did that and went back to a wonderful job in accounting research at Bell South. And right after that, I had an invitation from Human Resources for me to work there in Human Resources at Bell South as director of one of their assessment centers. Now remember, I want to be the super accountant, right? So I'm trying to figure out why in the world, one, would they think I would be interested in that? And two, why would I do that? And I started thinking about and looking at my peers in finance. And we all looked the same on paper. Now, our gender was different, our ethnicity was different, our age may have varied a little bit, but on paper, we looked exactly the same. We all had big accounting experience. We were all smart or thought we were really smart, had similar experiences. And so this whole assessment center HR experience that was being offered me, I thought that would make me a better manager to do that. And so I said, I think I would do that. My boss told me, don't do that. You're next in line for promotion in finance. Why would you do that? And I said, well, I think I'll be a better manager. He said, we won't care that you have HR experience in finance. Why would you do that? And something told me I really should take advantage of this opportunity to do something different. But he did frighten me enough that I asked for something that no one else had ever asked for. And I tell you this so you can be innovative in your thinking, and you can ask for things no one else has asked for. I went to our vice president and controller, and I said, I've got this opportunity in HR. I'd like to do it, but I really would like to come back to finance, and I'm worried I won't get back. And so he then did something different. He actually signed an intercompany contract. He drafted an intercompany contract between finance and HR that said Helen Smith Price will do this assignment 12 to 18 months, and will come back to finance at the end of that period or earlier if the business requires it. And so I did it, and it was a fascinating experience. I managed a team of 5 psychologists and then 5 managers and directors that came from the business to do assessments. I won't bore you with the details of what that HR experience was like, but I will tell you what it showed, or how it showed up for me, was that I had financial skills, but I was willing to try some different things and have a broader thinking. And that's actually how I got to the Coca-Cola Company. So Coca-Cola receives about 5,000 to 6,000 resumes a day, okay? And so this was surprising to me. So what happened to me after I'd gone back to finance, I got a call from a recruiter from the Coca-Cola Company that said, we'd like to invite you in to talk about career opportunities. There's this opportunity in corporate external affairs, and we'd like to meet you. Now, I didn't know what corporate external affairs was, but I did know it was the Coca-Cola Company. And at that time, and it still is, it's the largest beverage company in the world. And at that time, it was also the most recognized brand. I think Apple may have taken over that spot right now. But it was a big deal. And so I was eager to go and meet these people at the Coca-Cola Company. I didn't know what they were talking about with this corporate external affairs, but I went. I went in May, and I met HR, and I went away. Nothing happened. I was invited back in June, and I met the woman who ran this particular function, corporate external affairs. Her name is Ingrid Saunders-Jones, and she was Senior Vice President of Corporate External Affairs. And for the Coca-Cola Company, that was important. They operate in more than 200 countries around the world, operate globally, but we're a local partner in every community we serve. And so community affairs was very important to them. So important that when I interviewed, my interview slate included the CFO, the chairman's deputy, the president of their Africa group, and 3 other senior vice presidents. And so I thought, okay, this is a big deal. And it was a great experience. And what made me attractive to them was this. They wanted financial acumen, but they also wanted someone who could do and think differently, outside of the box, but with that training. I really wanted to be in finance, again, but this was interesting. And the more I learned about the role, the more interested I became. And I accepted the role and was offered this great opportunity. And I've worked there now for 23 years. The other part of the attraction for that role, again, was this African-American woman who was a senior vice president. So, you know, I'd audited many companies, I had friends at many different companies and firms. I had not seen anyone that looked like me at that level. And I thought, one, I need to figure out how you get there. And two, I'm sure a woman, and an African-American woman in corporate America, there's so much I could learn from her. And so I took the job. It was a 23-year ride at this point, and it's been a great ride. Now, what is really interesting when you think about this work, it's community affairs, but I also now manage the Global Foundation. And what I didn't count on is, where are the accounting students? Have you taken tax accounting? What I didn't count on and didn't know, that's what got me in the door with the foundation. U.S. foundations are guided by tax law. And so with an affinity for community, financial acumen, and an understanding of tax accountant, I was very attractive as a candidate. And that has been a big opportunity for me at Coca-Cola. So, you know, when I graduated from college or even graduate school, this is not where I thought I would be. And I say that so you also know it does pay to just listen to the opportunities. You really have to have a goal, and I had a goal, and I was tracking and trying some new and different things. But you'll be surprised at the opportunities that may come your way, and it's worth trying. You never know where it will take you. So I find myself here for many different reasons, and it's been a great ride. I wanted to talk to you also because, as you just heard, I'm double HBCU, okay? Not only undergraduate, but graduate school too, double HBCU. And our HBCUs, I think, add significant value in many different ways. I'm not sure you would hear this conversation if you were at a majority institution. Maybe, I don't think so. But I'm here, and I have, I learned to understand what it means to have mentors and what it means to tell your story. And so I hope that my story is helpful to you. And I would love it if we could now take an opportunity to ask questions.
Great. Let's thank Ms. Price while we're...
So I would like to begin with the first question. A lot of students here want to do something meaningful that helps others. Will you talk more about corporate philanthropy and what attracted you to the field?
We never expected the storms that hit the U.S., that hit the Virgin Islands and across the world. We never expected the wildfires that hit California and Harvey that hit Texas. But there are other issues. There are women's issues. There are issues of child labor when you look across the globe. The world is full of things. We are, no matter where you are in the U.S., and all of us have certain needs, but how many people have traveled outside the U.S.? Were you surprised at what you saw? There are some things that are special in the U.S., but there are also some things that we should focus on in people who need help. When you go outside the U.S., there are some places that you cannot even imagine. I've been to some villages across the continent of Africa where water is a huge issue. And we thought water wasn't an issue here until Flint happened, and that was interesting and an anomaly. But we're talking about how, if you pay your water bill and you turn your water on, some water is going to come out, right? That's not the case in some places. And I've been to Bangkok and to Myanmar, and there are communities that really need help. There are communities here in the U.S. that need help. And so philanthropy is that thing that says, because you can, you should. Okay? And the other thing is consumers. All of you, all of us, are consumers that can influence the companies whose products we buy, whose services we use, and you can influence that by your expectation as consumers. And consumer data will tell you that consumers prefer brands who actually make a difference and give back. The good news for me and why Coca-Cola was very appealing to me was it's always been a great community partner in its hometown of Atlanta. And so it spread that around the world, but in Atlanta it's certainly been important. And corporate philanthropy makes a difference. It takes all of us, both corporate philanthropy, individual citizens, and the government. We have this thing at Coca-Cola, we talk about the Golden Triangle Partnership. And when you look at the problems in the world, they really are so complex that it takes all of us to try and address them. Business, government, civil society. Civil society will be all of us who can volunteer and do some things. The nonprofit world, as well as companies. So philanthropy is very important. It's a really sweet spot for me because I do believe that it makes a difference to give back on a personal level. And I'm one of those consumers that think I want to support companies who support me and my communities. So it matters.
So I'm hearing there's a lot of similarities between your job at the Coke Company as well as the Coca-Cola Foundation.
Yes. Oh, thank you. So let me explain the Coca-Cola Foundation. So the company, of course, is the largest beverage company, and it is all about consumer sales. We're a Fortune 500 company. Buy some stock as soon as you can. Get some Coke stock. It's going up. It's going to go even further. But that's the commercial side. We have share owners that we owe the ability to turn a profit and increase their earnings per share and their dividends. But the Coca-Cola Company, as this big global brand, is a local company in every community we serve. And as a local company, there's a commitment to make the communities where we live and work better places. So not only do we have not only are we selling around the world, we actually bottle our products around the world. So we're a global company that manifests itself as a local employer and a local community partner everywhere. So it all ties together. We want our communities to be healthy and strong for our associates, for our business, and for the community. Our business cannot be strong if the communities where we operate are not sustainable. And so it matters.
Thank you. So while we know the importance of analytical and technical skills in a job area such as yours, can you express the importance of soft skills and how nurturing them has helped advance you in your career?
So, you know, in a group of accountants, they will say, I have a well-balanced portfolio of skills with soft skills and accounting skills. In a group of public affairs and community people, they'll tell you, you're an auditor all day long. So it matters who you're talking to. But I would say a great skills portfolio is important to anyone. You know, many of you may be the way it has turned out for me. I started on one path, started in chemistry, moved into accounting, still analytical thinking, analytical skills make a big difference. And then I've got this corporate external affairs world. And in that world, I work with a lot of people who are, whose background has been public affairs, communications, human resources. And I will tell you they all matter. They all matter. And when every function's doing its part, that's when the enterprise becomes stronger. I will tell you from an individual standpoint, when you look at your skill sets, you'll veer off the charts in one area. You may need some other things that round you out. I would say think of yourself as your own product. What is it you think you need? Where are you going? And it matters where you think you're going. You're going in finance, you're going in banking. Obviously, the financial skills matter. But almost in every role, you've got to sell what you have. You've got to interact with people. You've got to influence people and develop rapport with people you don't know. Think about your interviews. Every interview you have, you're making a sale, right? You're going in and you are presenting your best self, your skills portfolio, and the person that's interviewing you, they want to learn about your skills and the technical skills you bring, but they also want to know, will you fit into this environment? What's your work ethic? And so you're selling everything. You are selling yourself, your reputation, your skills. You've got to make the sale on almost everything you do. If you're in say you're in marketing, you're doing advertising. You can't just do advertising for yourself. You've got to win clients, right? You've got to figure out how to develop rapport, how to sell, how to influence. So all of those skills matter.
So the soft skills really complete the package?
The soft skills complete the package, absolutely. But you can't have just the soft skills, because I've seen both sides of this. There was a guy that went to graduate school with me. He had the sales skills. I mean, he had the sales skills. He was engaging. You wanted to be around him. I knew his interviews were great. He had job offers before most of us. He didn't have the other side of that, though. So he could get in the door, but he couldn't stay there. And so you really need, how do you complete your package? You are the package, and you have to figure out what you need and what will be important in how you present yourself and how you sell yourself. Now, there are people who may say, you are so smart in marketing. You are the best marketer, or you're the best accountant. And I will say to you, do your own inventory. The feedback is good, but do your own inventory, because we all know what is that one thing that I feel less comfortable about. I'm a great marketing person, you may say, but I don't speak well in public. Or they say I speak well, but I feel uncomfortable doing it. So you have to figure out where's your point of discomfort, and work on it so it becomes not an issue for you. And you don't even have to tell anyone, here's why I don't feel good. I don't feel good about this part, but you know it, and you work on it.
For some parting advice, what would you give for the people who are just starting and about to graduate?
My parting advice is to make sure you understand you are going into roles that you are prepared for. And what you don't know, and you will not know everything. What you don't know, you already know how to figure out. You're smart enough to figure out what you don't know. Research it, figure it out, ask for help if you need to. The other thing I'll say is your network matters. You know, I've talked about, my name was given to Coca-Cola by a classmate. I think I did. But it was a classmate of mine from graduate school. And so networks matter. Friendship matters. And find people who are like-minded. They may not be the same as you are, but they may be on the same path. And the other thing I'll say, help each other. And help other people when you can. But help each other and coach each other. You know, I have good friends who will say, you know, that went really well for you, but here's what may have been a better thought. Or, have you ever thought about looking at some other opportunities? I mean, you see each other, and you can assess and help. So I'd say be a good friend and help each other. And not only just friends. When you're in the work world, help anyone you can when it makes sense. And as you continue climbing, be a mentor. Right now, you're in school. You can mentor some young people who want to be where you are, and that does matter.
Thank you. On the behalf of Delaware State University, and especially the College of Business, we are honored to give you this gift for being here today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.